And here we go, Mopar fans, with my Dodge Duster. How about that? For those of you guys who know, you'll know what I'm talking about. This is the 71 Dodge Demon. It's the first time Dodge copied the Plymouth models of the Duster and just put out its own version. And the story goes back to the Barracuda. And you may ask, well, how does the Barracuda have anything to do with this? Well, the first generation Barracuda came out in 1964 and predated the Mustang by 2 weeks, but it didn't sell as much as the Mustang, and it was more of a Valiant-based type of vehicle, the Barracuda was. And then they got into second generation, 67, 68, 69 was the last year on the A-body platform, and then Dodge Chrysler Plymouth moved the Barracuda off the A-body platform to the newly created E-body platform in the form of the Cuda, Barracuda, and the Dodge Challenger. Well, that left Plymouth without a sport model, and what they did is they brought out this new model called the Duster, and the Duster was nothing more than a Valiant front end, and they put a fastback type style rear end on it, and it was a tremendous sales success. They sold just short of 300,000 units, and it was largely because they were going up against Ford models like the Falcon. They were going up against the Maverick, and then you had the Vega, the Chevy Vega. The Duster proved to be a much larger inside, bigger trunk room, more family friendly, and they sold a ton of them, including just short of 20,000 340 muscle car Dusters. Well, remember, Dodge Chrysler Plymouth was not only competing with other manufacturers, but they were competing within their own divisions. So when Plymouth came through with this new Duster with just short of a 300,000 unit volume sales year for 1970, Dodge was pretty pissed off. So in 71, they followed suit with their first ever offering of a 108-inch wheelbase, a small, shorter car called the Dodge Demon. If you recall the previous models, the Dodge Dart Swingers, Dodge was always a little bit longer, more of a premium product at a 111-inch wheelbase. This is a 108-inch wheelbase, shorter, high-powered, and Dodge wanted to make a splash with their own A-body and build some units. And this is, the Dart Swinger lost the 340, and in 71, the only way you could get a 340 was with the Dodge Demon. And that's where they went. However, for those of you that know, I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know, the nameplate was controversial. Back then in those days, the Dodge Demon was not really a popular name for a car. A lot of people squawked, and they didn't sell as well as the Duster did. Consequently, when you come to today, the Dodge Demon is, because it is rarer than the 340 Duster, you have a little bit of more of a book value with the Dodge Demons, especially on the 71 models. The 71 models are, the first year, they were the ones that got the high compression 340, and also they are the only ones, this is the only year where it received the same dash as the Barracuda, or what's called the Rally Dash. This particular unit has, from the factory, a optional tough wheel on it. So, let's do a breakdown on this car. This car came from the Los Angeles plant. It's a true H-code, high performance 340. That's the high compression engine. It's got the scoops on it. Dusters never came with scoops. You'll see scoops on Dusters, but they never came with them. This is the high impact paint. It costs extra money to have this paint put on there. This is Butterscotch, probably one of the more demure ones. You got your bright oranges, the yellows, the high-impact paints. This one was probably the least popular of the high impacts, but it did cost you about between just upwards of $14 to $15 extra, which was like a $75 surcharge for the paint back then. This particular car also comes from the Los Angeles plant. When you look at the VIN number, you'll see the VIN code, like the number B as in boy, that signifies the most common ones. Those were Hamtramck or Dodge, Maine, out of Detroit. This one is an E as in Edward in the plant code, so it came from the Los Angeles plant. And it's really odd and ironic that the Los Angeles plant were making these for Western orders. This car is super solid, all original panel, Los Angeles car, and high impact paint. It's an H code and Los Angeles, and this was made in March of '71, and it was just about 3-4 months later the Los Angeles plant closed its doors forever. Chrysler shut it down. It was all done, and so this is one of the last of the Mohicans. Not only that, but this car was performance oriented. As you can see, it does not have power brakes. It did have disc brakes because that was standard by '71 for a 340 high performance car. Has period correct battery, the larger radiator, and that is because the car was born with the A31 performance axle package. What that means is when you have a performance axle package, you cannot get air conditioning. Not allowed, because it has a 391 sure grip gear in the back with what's called max cooling. Again, that large radiator and with the torque fan. So I know what somebody did is they ordered this thing with no power equipment, automatic, H code 340, 391 sure grip in the rear with the max cooling. This car was made for the strip right out of the box, which would explain why the original engine was gone a long time ago. They blew it up. This is a 360. It's a 408 stroker. What they do is they take a 360 engine. This one is a 78, probably out of a truck, most likely. It's got the high-rise intake on it, the big fat Holly 408 stroker kit. It's between 520 to 550 horsepower, and it just rips. Okay, taking a look at this. Here's your inspector's tag from the Los Angeles plant. These are usually long gone. It's still on there. Now you got the E55, which is your 340, D32 automatic, LM29, that's the Demon. H is 340, 1 is 71. E, as you can see, is the Los Angeles plant, and it is 124029. This is the 24,000th and 28th vehicle off the line. EL5 Butterscotch, M1XX is your interior code, and that's what you get with these crazy bench seats in here. These cost extra too. As ugly as they are, they're very similar like what they were doing in the Camaros, the Porsches, the AMCs, and everybody at the time in the early 70s was doing these crazy plaid interiors. And I personally thought they were ugly, but you know what? I knew they were collectible, and they are. They're very collectible now. So, okay, let's go on up. Okay, United States order. There's A31. That's your 391 gear performance axle package. Hood pins, roof drip wheels, dual exhaust, and all your striping. So there you have it. Real beautiful car, super clean, all original panel car. And again, the 71 Demon is just like a one-off year. The 72 is very fine too. I like them, but they don't have this dash. Only the 71 Demon has that Barracuda or Rally dash, like the Barracudas had. And with the optional tough wheel from the factory, it looks really nice. So, and as you can see, it is a member of the Scat Pack. And then looking back here, there's your Dodge Scat Pack sticker on the back. And let's take a look here. These graphics are really in the taillights. Look at that beautiful taillight setup. And you got your Demon 340. Now, anybody that's in the Mopars, they know what the problem was with these Demons. The nameplate was very, very, very controversial. Church groups did not like having a car with the Demon nameplate on it, and sales consequently suffered. Now, at just under 300,000 unit sales for the Plymouth Duster, these did not sell as well. There were less than 10,000 of these made in the 71 model year. So what you're looking at is a very rare H-code 340 Demon. In 2022, I took it up to Ocala, Florida, to Big Daddy Don Garlett's annual Mopar show, and I entered it into stock, and it took second place, which I was very happy. And last but not least, to round it out, is the Demons have scoops from the factory on the hood, which feed air to the carburetor. And as you can see these things? These are painted black. There's no 340 there. This is correct for a Demon. You'll see Dusters with chrome 340s on there. Dusters never got scoops from the factory, ever. They've always been added. So Dodge, that was primarily reserved for Dodge performance models. So anyway, there you have it. And to round it out, there's the new Mylodon 7-quart low-profile oil pan with the pickup tube to go with it. I was pulled off into the grass, and upon reversing, the 8-quart deep oil pan caught the edge of the driveway, and I smashed the crap out of the oil pan. Well, anyway, it's coming off. We're going with the low profile, and it'll bring it up right around where the K-frame is, but it requires a new pickup. So there you have it, gang. This is Gauze Garage. Thanks for tuning in, and that's the story with the Butterscotch EL5 Dodge Demon 340. Thank you.